Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists, and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unnies.
Hey everybody, it's Leah Riley.
Hello, it's Megan.
So first I want to say I'm coming at you hot from a hotel in Los Angeles.
Right, I know. I mean, I can tell it's a hotel. It's very hotel-ish, but it looks nice.
It is nice. You know what? I am a girl who loves it. I am cursed by having a job that allows for very little travel. I think I would be, I am somebody who, people are always like, oh, I don't like traveling for my job. I could really like traveling for my job all the time. I'm traveling
Like hotels.
today. It's just very rare. My husband's always complaining, like, I miss it. I'm like, I'd love to be in a hotel Monday through Friday and then home for the weekends.
Right. I like hotels. I also don't mind traveling. I like traveling alone. I think that's my thing. I really do enjoy traveling alone. So I don't think that like it would. I mean, it would probably be old after a while, but I don't mind it. So it's just us two today, and it's
There's
just
a reason for this.
there's
There
a
is a
very
reason.
so
I don't even know where.
let me just say this. We're gonna discuss Oldboy the movie today. Okay, so you know what's coming. I have been wanting to see this, but it just I don't know, I never sat down to watch it. And Leah said, let's cover Oldboy for the pod. And Leah, why don't you explain the final catalyst that was like getting us to cover this for the podcast?
Yeah. So, I think it's been like a couple of weeks. BTS dropped a music video for their song 2.0 off their new album, Arirang. And there are two settings in the music video that are direct homages to Oldboy. The first one I did remember, the second one I didn't. So the first one is there's a moment when the members at the beginning of 2.0 step out of an elevator into a dark, grungy corridor. It's full of thugs, and it's the exact setup of the movie's famous hallway scene, which was shot in kind of one continuous take. And so BTS does not get into the violence that is inherent to this film, but it does do a nod there. And I think that for me, what I took away from it, because like why do a nod to to this movie in particular? Because as we get into it, like this is a roller coaster of a ride. But I think it's very simple, and it's because, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more in depth. We have look, I don't think it's hyperbole to say the biggest Korean act on the planet, and arguably just one of the biggest acts on the planet, is using Oldboy as kind of a visual shorthand, as almost like a thank you note to the film that helped really just like open that door to the Korean wave that they've really ridden to the top. That's how I'm interpreting it. It's basically and then we have like the choreography as violence is kind of like a fun it's a pretty clever inversion to take. And so we're going to talk about there's a famous quote that the director Park had about he wanted audiences to really feel physically exhausted by the brutality of this film. I would say that, we could potentially have like BTS wants you to feel physically moved. I think we all felt quite physically moved with Namjoon in the 2.0 music video. But I just think it's basically, to me, what it feels like is it's an homage to saying, here is one of the first films that really made the world sit up and take notice of like they're doing some shit pretty amazing over there. And so kind of just being like, we're part of this grander legacy. The thing I didn't forget, and I'm not going to get into it too much now because we're going to talk about it in the spoiler section, is I just really enjoyed the end of the music video when they're dancing and there's kind of like the green long pools and like they're kind of sloshing around and kicking in it. And I was like, that's very visually arresting. And then when I rewatched the movie, I was like,
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that looks familiar.
Yeah.
So, but again, I think 2.0, the music video, was taking out the plot of the film and essentially just being like, this was a very seminal film that did a lot and was kind of like the beginning of this big Korean wave. And here we are kind of like cresting the wave with us coming in. And 2.0 is like a fairly swag song. Like, we're back. Hope everyone had their fun little filla. But basically, like, the big boys are back. The kings are back.
Yeah, like, maybe it's more of an homage to, like, what Oldboy did than, like, the actual
Yes.
themes of
Yes.
Oldboy. And that
Exactly.
totally makes sense to me because Oldboy is a very famous Korean movie that made other entertainment industries around the world take notice of what Korea is doing.
Yes. But
Even
if you
I
were
know
going
that.
to go in to watch it being like, hey, people are like, Oldboy inspired this music video, I'm going to go
Yeah.
check out Oldboy.
No.
Let's just say I'm not sure what I don't know what trigger warnings you don't put on this.
Well, so this is what's funny too, is that I will tell you right now, I had zero idea what this was about. I mean, I'm talking like almost nothing. Almost nothing. I actually didn't even know if it was like violent or not. I was just
Oh,
prepared because I just read a brief description before I started watching, which basically says a man is imprisoned for 15 years. And I was like, okay, so it's that type of movie. Okay. Okay. But I still had no idea, other than you saying it's gonna be rough viewing, Megan. And I was like, okay. I mean, I know what rough viewing means in Korean, like, cinema and dramas. I will say I still was not prepared for this. I still
mm-mm.
was pretty pretty scandalized by,
You're
I mean,
not gonna you're not
I don't know
gonna
what can prepare you for this.
you're not gonna leave feeling good.
No, I was like, I didn't enjoy I didn't enjoy that. But I also I'm not, like, sad I watched it.
That's
It's
the
a
point.
weird feeling.
The point is you're meant to be immersed, physically exhausted, brutalized, traumatized, and that is the movie being successful.
Right. I mean, mission accomplished. Like, I thought about it for a long time afterwards, and I think I will be thinking about
So let me just give some framing, and we're just gonna like chit chat as
Right,
we give the framing. But
right.
this is a 2003. I've seen it called an action thriller. I'm gonna call it like I don't want to give away, and we're gonna get to a spoiler section, but let's just say right now, revenge noir, heavy on the revenge, heavy on the noir.
I like that. I actually really I like that
That's where
better.
I'm action thriller feels like John Wick to me. John Wick is like watching the Smurfs.
Yeah, I felt good after watching John Wick. I did not feel good after
Yeah.
watching Oldboy.
Yeah. But I would say that like, and at this point, Park Chan-wook's name is if you follow Korean cinema at all, like this is a name you're gonna know. One of my all-time favorite films, and we talked about it for the pod, we all universally liked it, was The Handmaiden, which is a movie he did that just go back and listen to our pod on that. Transgressive, also noir, also subversive, but you did not leave wanting to I didn't leave feeling sick inside after The
Right.
Handmaiden.
I did
There
not
were
either.
sickening elements of The Handmaiden, and there were disturbing elements, but in the end, I left being like, "Hell yeah."
Right,
And you know what?
right.
Not all film I'm gonna argue not all film does, and I'm gonna say that for the deaf and we're gonna talk about the HEAS. I mean, like, it's not, but I'm gonna make it fun and say, "You know what? You can thread the needle if you wanna have a good time."
I mean, sure.
I mean, I was like, because at first I was laughing because I was like, it's funny that when we do like a very non-romance for like a romance-focused podcast, and I was like, well, give me 6 bottles of soju and hang me upside down off a bridge, and I could tell you this is a romance.
Yeah. I can stretch it.
Lock me in a room for 15 years, and I can make this a love story. Okay. So the story, as you acknowledged, follows a man named Ode Soo, who is played very well by Choi Min-sik. So he the setup is essentially like you're arrested for minor assault one night, you miss your daughter's 4th birthday, but you get abducted and you wake up in a sealed room with no explanation, no contact, It's just you. And this is like it's like that movie Room. Did you ever watch Room? Where, like, the woman's kid yeah. Like, I do not do well with claustrophobic setting. So, like, the idea of
Mm.
waking up and being, like, locked in the space and it's not even tiny. Like, I mean, it's not a room you wanna be it's not spacious, but it's not like you're, like, waking up and you're in, like, you can't move. He's in, like, a small apartment.
He's in, like, a larger hotel room. That's what I would
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it. He's in,
Or a
like
larger
he's in,
hotel
like,
room
a
that is unpleasant.
decent-sized hotel.
That's not
Right.
nice.
No. No.
It's not full torture. It's not like he woke up on a cement floor with, like, a bucket, but it is not a place you wanna spend 15 minutes, let alone 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to it, but I the point is to just keep him isolated for 15 years. So it's not necessarily like the torture of being in like a small room or any sort of like physical torture. The point is to keep him isolated for 15 years.
Yeah, the point is let him out, but he's gotta marinate for a bit. So
Right.
here's the
Yeah.
is yes, it does when it comes to action, like, yes, of course, it has, like, very cinematically jaw-dropping fight sequences. Really, I mean, at its like, I do think the thriller aspect, like, it is a psychological thriller. It really is a
Yeah.
meditation on revenge and the exploration of, like, what does revenge cost a person? And I'm gonna say, like, there is no hero, like, this is the non-spoiler section, but I wanna speak in broad terms. There's no hero to root for. Like, there's nobody I mean, maybe Mito, like, the female character. I rooted for her, I guess.
Yeah, I rooted for her because she was just caught in the crosshairs of like
Yeah.
everything.
But for the people that were, like, in the thick of it, like, no, there's no one you're really rooting for. So, when we think about the impact, because I wanna just go back because we talked about how I think this is where BTS was coming with, saying what an impact this had. In 2003, this was, so it was a big success. I guess it was considered, like, the 5th highest grossing film of that year, which is, like that's good. But I think what happened it was that it was like, it's the global implications of what happened. At that point, Korean cinema was still fairly underground. Mainstream audiences in the West really like, this wasn't really on the radar. And this is where, for me, I'm gonna say this was my first crossover with Korean entertainment was this movie back in, like, 2005, maybe?
Really?
Yeah, it
Interesting. I
felt
didn't
like
realize you watched it that long ago. Okay.
because it was, like, talked to like, it was, like, a thing of people being, like we'll
I do
talk about
remember.
some of the parts. There's a very specific part that is not the twist, but, a food situation that is unsettling, and people were talking about that a lot, and yeah, we ended up watching it, then. I did block a lot out, so I got to enjoy it a lot of it for the fun again, 'cause I knew what the big twist was. I forgot the secondary twist. I kinda just forgot a lot of it, so I just remember watching it being like, "That." But, I mean, like, at the time, I mean, like, I was living in, like, Tasmania, I think. I don't even think we weren't even in Hawaii yet. So, like, this found me, like, living in Tasmania, like, circa 2004, 5, something like that. So it went to Cannes. When it went to Cannes, that was the year it was, chaired by Quentin Tarantino, who he really got behind this film. Not surprising to me. I mean, it's shot
Yeah.
gorgeously. It is dark. It is revenge. So the Palme d'Or that year went to Fahrenheit 9/11, Michael Moore's movie, but Oldboy did win, the Pr Prix Grand Prix, which made it the first Korean film to ever win a major award at Cannes. And
Ooh,
so
okay.
basically that was just kind of like a thing to say, like, "Look, you know, here they are making work that is visceral, innovative, challenging anything that's coming out of Hollywood or Europe, and Park Chan-Wook became a name that people started to talk about and people became more curious. It was kind of like it began to pave the road for what we would consider to be, the Korean wave and the rest. So it might not have been the very first Korean film that, international audiences had seen, but it was one that really did leave a big mark. And so I think that that is notable, and I think that that kind of just gives it the sense of legacy. And here's the thing is, like, we're still seeing the effect of it because it's being referenced by currently, like, the biggest cultural exports of that country, 23 years later. And, um, and so I think that's really powerful. And honestly, watching it does not feel dated. Like, watching it,
No.
I could have watched it made yesterday.
So just from like being watching Korean entertainment, so watching interviews of K-pop idols, watching interviews of K-drama actors, Oldboy is constantly mentioned. Like K-pop idols who are like 17 years old are like mentioning Oldboy. So I will be honest, I did not realize it was that old from 2003. I did think it was much newer. I feel like the only reason I thought it looked dated was maybe just like the camera quality. I would that's
And
but that's
computers, like, when they were on the computers were pretty old.
yeah, but that's really it. I would say as far as like the directing of it, um didn't feel dated. I can see why Quentin Tarantino got behind it. I think there's some Quentin Tarantino-esque ways that Park Chan-Wook directs, but it's still very much his own flavor. Like it still
Or it's
is.
his flavor and Quentin who knows, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean I felt like I was watching something like different and unique, and I have watched tons of revenge dramas, the K-dramas. I like them. I've still never seen anything like Oldboy. Like that's nothing I have watched in the last like 5 6 years is like that.
So if we wanna go on a real journey, I don't know if I'm up for it in this exact moment, but, Oldboy is actually part of what's, Park has deemed his Vengeance trilogy. So the 3 films are not connected narratively, but they all deal on the topics of vengeance and revenge. And so there's Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, 2002, Oldboy, 2003, and Lady Vengeance, 2005. And Oldboy is the most famous and apparently the most extreme of the 3. I have not seen the other 2. So Park Chan-wook said, this was the quote I alluded to before. His quote, and this is an English translation, so, there's gonna be nuance that would have been in the Korean translation that I don't have for the English version, but, "I wanted the film to be felt physically, not just emotionally. I wanted the audiences to be tired when they finished the film. I wanted their bodies to be tired." Do you believe that he succeeded in that
Yeah,
goal?
mission accomplished. I was like, "Jeez." I was tired, and I had kinda planned on watching this in, like, 2 batches. I was gonna watch, like, the first hour. It's just sometimes it's hard to have, like, 2 consecutive hours, believe it or not, like, to watch a movie. Um, and I just watched the whole thing in one sitting. I was like, "Fuck it, I gotta figure out what is going on here. I cannot stop it." Um, but I was exhausted, and I was also, like, physically disgusted. As well. I was.
So what would be a movie, and like, non-Korean, just a movie that you watched that, like, when you finished it, you might have felt like, can you think of anything that, like, it doesn't mean that it's the same movie, but something that you just kind of like, your emotional state at the end was similar? Okay. The one I thought of was No Country for Old Men.
Mm.
Um directed by the Coen brothers, which followed, Josh Brolin, who finds drug money, and there's a hitman, Javier Bardem, pursuing him. And so again, very different characters. But Javier Bardem's character fucked me up in that movie. And there's like a famous coin toss scene in that movie that really fucked me up. And I guess I just left that movie being like, that was very good and I feel very bad. And that's how I feel like, so just like that same emotional thrust of like, left being like, that was an incredible movie. I feel horrible and I want to take a shower.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have 2, actually. The first one is Requiem for a Dream. I
Yes.
cannot tell you how badly that movie fucked me up. I was so furious at my husband because he was like, it's a really good movie." He didn't warn me. He didn't give me a fucking heads up that it was gonna be horrid. By the end of the movie, I felt so sick to my stomach, but I directed the anger at my husband, and I still bring it up. I still bring up Requiem for a Dream. Just if he does something that, like, makes me mad, I'll just be like, "Remember that time you made me watch Requiem for a Dream?" I mean, it was like I was horrified.
Yeah.
And, like, don't get me wrong, it's a
No, that was
great
a hard
movie.
movie. That was a very hard movie.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I respect that it is a fantastic movie. Did I enjoy any bit of it? Absolutely not. And then I would say the other one is, The Platform, which is a Spanish.
I wanted to see that. I have not watched it, but I've really wanted to watch it. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, it's a really interesting movie. So there is a Platform 2, and I decided not to watch that because it was it looks like they decided to lean more into the gore rather than to, like, the point of The Platform. So The Platform is a movie if you're in debt, you can sign up to be a part of, like, this platform experiment, which basically means you, get put on a floor in a very high tower, and I'm talking, like 50, 60 floors, I don't remember, a lot. And every day, a platform of food is dropped down through the center of every platform, and there's 2 people in each platform. And the whole thing is, like, if you're at the top, you get kind of all the food you want as the platform is dropping. So but by the time the platform gets to the very bottom, there's no food. So and it randomly, like, reseeds you into different platforms every 30 days. And it's just a lot about, like, what it means to be a have and a have not. You're not happy at the end at all. I would say it left me less sick than, Oldboy and Requiem for a Dream, but it still left me feeling unwell.
Yeah, fair. I really do wanna see it, and I don't know much about I know, like, the overarching plot of it, and then I forgot, so thank you. I'm definitely
It
gonna
is a
watch.
really I really do recommend it. Again, I don't think Platform 2 I don't wanna watch it, and I'm not going to, but the first one, it was on Netflix a while ago. I don't know if it's still there, but it's a Spanish movie, and it's really good. You just don't you're not gonna feel good afterwards.
Yeah. So I wanna jump, back to just also 2003 because we also did another film that was made in 2003 that I absolutely loved, and you liked it quite a lot, which was Memories of Murder by Bong Joon-ho. So both Memories of Murder and Oldboy came out 2003.
Oh, okay.
Similar year for some really good movies, and I guess when I'm trying to think about, like, I don't wanna actually even play a binary game of, like, what director's movie because we've only seen a couple of both, and I don't really wanna ask, like, who do we like better or who do we but I think both of them are amazing in different ways. Like, I would say that, like, from what I've seen of Bong Joon-ho at this point, like, tends to kinda lean more on, like, kinda like social issues, whereas Puck seems to kind of do these more kind of like transgressive, kind of like intense internal narratives. Um, I like both, honestly. I mean, I'm gonna say that like finishing Old Boy, I was like, it's just hard to be like, I can't be like, I love and I mean, even Memories of Murder was a weird reaction to finish and be like, that was in like both of them have now made movies that I consider to be like in my all-time top. And I'm a hard movie sell these days. I think that like when I go to the movies, I'm often fairly bored or I prefer to have shows. And so these are two creators who watching their films, even going back because Memories of Murder I watched last year. I think we did Memories of Murder last year. Watching Old Boy, like it makes me be like, man, movies can really, really do the job. They really can do the job in a way that a show can't because I don't want a whole show of Old Boy. I do not want a show. I do not want a season.
No. Oh my god, no. Oh my god,
Um,
no.
and so, yeah, I think that, like, for me, both of them I just have so much respect for and, really enjoy, and I think what it's challenging me to do maybe is, like, some homework, and if any listeners wanna recommend, is I would love to get recommend because I think both of them are amazing. Please recommend me something directed by a woman, a Korean woman. I'd love to get some recommendations, so if people wanna kick us some, I'd be happy to do something there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Should we go to the spoiler
I was
section?
just gonna say, let's talk about the plot. Let's talk about the plot. We're gonna discuss spoilers for Old Boy. Um, and to be honest, I will say right now, I'm glad I had no spoilers because I will tell you there's a twist and I think my jaw did drop, like visibly if someone was watching
So
me, my
much
jaw did.
better if you don't know the twist is coming, because once you know the twist, you can never watch the movie the same way again.
Oh, no. Yeah. So, I'm glad I didn't know. So,
Okay,
but
and we
now
are
we're gonna
going
start talking about it.
and we'll reveal the twist. So just know that
Yes.
we are in the spoiler section. Okay. So let's just talk about some of the scenes that make Old Boy famous. So one is the hallway fight scene. This is referenced a lot. BTS did their music video with it, and it's Daesoo with a hammer fighting his way through a hallway of attackers, and it's kind of just like there's no music, there's no score. He's getting beaten down, he's getting back up. It's just like boom, breathing pain. Like it's very visceral and it just kind of keeps going.
It does, it just keeps going, it's, like, exhausting to watch because 'cause I'm just like, "Oh my god," and then he gets stabbed in the back and he's still fighting with a knife sticking out of his back, which is crazy. And so just to explain too, he was kidnapped and imprisoned in this pseudo hotel room for 15 years. And then one day he is like they put this gas in the room that puts him to sleep, and then he wakes up on the roof. Like, and he's free. And there's really no he doesn't know why.
We know a hypnotist is involved somehow. We know. He
Correct.
doesn't know, but we see a hypnotist do something and we're like, "Huh." And then the hypnotist is basically like, "You see grass," and then all of a sudden he comes to and he's on in grass.
Yeah. And obviously
And
like
he just comes back to
his life is like he can't the life he had, he can't get back. Like there's no his wife as actually dead. And they framed him for the murder. So, back when he was like still in the hotel room. So his wife is dead, his daughter is like living in
in Sweden.
America.
They're saying like the daughter's in Sweden or something.
Oh, okay, that's it. And so so his kind of his focus is like, well, who did this to me? That probably would be your natural reaction because at this point he he is a different person. I mean, he is like,
He's never known why this happened to him.
yeah,
Like, there's
yeah,
never been a sense of, like, no one has ever been like, "This is why." It's just imagine like, I was trying to think of, like, what would you do if all of a sudden you just woke up, you're in this space, there's nobody ever there to be like, "I'm your killer, I'm your captor." There's no saw there to be like, "You've got 15 minutes to cut razor blades out of this dog." Like, it's
right,
just you're just in this room and
yeah,
you're just eating fucking dumplings.
yeah. He just ate
You're trying
dumplings.
to dig holes thinking you're gonna get out someday. You're giving yourself a tattoo every year. You're getting gas to sleep at night. You're jacking off to bad music videos. Like, that
Yeah,
was uncomfortable too.
yeah, that was uncomfortable.
You're practicing fighting that you're training yourself how to fight, which I was like, "I guess that's useful." Here's the I do wanna say this, and this is shallow. Because when he was in there, like, when he was first introduced to us, I was not like, "Oh, yeah, daddy," like, hot daddy, anything, and, while he was imprisoned in his, like, little apartment, I was just like, that wasn't happening for me at all. But when he gets out and he steals the glasses from the lady in the elevator, and he's walking out with his, like, weird home cut hairdo and those, like, lady glasses, I was like, hear me out. Like, you
Yeah,
can you can kinda get it.
yeah, he had some BDE, I would say at that stage because I
Those
think he had
glasses really did it for me.
yeah, and I think part of it is like he had lost his mind a little bit,
Yeah.
and he just had this like swagger, like I don't care anymore, and for him, he thought he was going on a revenge tour. Like he's like, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yes.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
go
on
on
a
a tour.
yeah,
I am in control of my like, my
correct.
control is taken away. I somehow have it back. And the curious thing is he never really spent a lot of time wondering why. That is a fatal flaw to his plan. He never was like, "But why?"
Yeah, but why did you let me out? He's just
He
like,
just
"Yeah, it just happened. They let me out. My sentence is over." Like, it's like he probably should have thought more about why he was let out.
But it takes because it gets so intense so fast, you as a viewer aren't spending a lot of time lingering on that either. You're kinda like, "Huh, that's like, he's let out, okay." Then we have him interact with the guy who's gonna end his own life with his dog or whatever.
I still don't understand the point of that.
I think that we had a callback to what happened later with the like, the holding and the end of the like, I was like, there is some sort of callback
Oh,
to what happens yeah.
okay, I guess. I feel like that was a weird thing. And then, so is you mentioned earlier a food situation. Is that what comes next, and is that what you've been thinking about?
Yeah,
Is that
so
what
he makes his way to a sushi bar, and look, I'm also gonna just name that, like, culturally, like, eating octopus is just good in general, like, octopus is delicious. I have made a choice, even though it's some of my favorite food on the planet, to not eat octopus anymore because I've decided octopus are too sentient and too smart that I personally am not, but that does not mean I have, like, judgment for octopus eating. And when you go to Korea, it's really common to eat octopus that are freshly killed. They're still moving. Like you can buy them in a tank, they kill them and you eat them. So that is pretty much like that's so I don't want to say that that's like an ick factor because that's just like how they eat it. How he eats it is not that way though.
Right, no one eats it like that.
So like, let me just say there's like a cultural nuance here that like I fully support, understand and like accept. And then there's whatever this
Right,
is.
eating octopus is fine. The way he ate it,
Even eating freshly killed, still wiggling octopus, like,
right.
I mean, look, it's not for me, but I get it. Like, again, he he eats this he eats this bad boy alive,
Oh my god, it's crazy.
and
He
it's
shoves it
real.
oh,
He really does do it.
he d
Like the actor does do it. And I tried to keep watching it because I was like, "You know what? This is art. Just sit with the discomfort." I did have to turn. I could not watch it.
No, it made me very uncomfortable, and I kept telling okay, I don't wanna know I have a feeling like the actor actually ate it. I don't really wanna know, so don't tell
No,
me.
he did.
Okay, I I pretended I was like, "This is movie magic." Like, that was honestly I know, Leah, but I that's how I kind of knew, trust me, in my heart of hearts, I knew, but I was like, "I'm just gonna pretend this is movie magic. I'm just pretending it's movie magic." But he meets a woman named Mito,
Yes.
and she's like the sushi chef there, okay? And immediately they have this, like, connection, and I was kind of like she took him back to her apartment, and I was kind
And
of
it's
like
surprising because she's gorgeous and young, and while he has big DE and those glasses, he is not that.
yeah, I was like, "Girl, what are you doing?" But this is the thing, is that all I kept thinking about so I don't think you have watched, the Born Identity movies. So in the first Born Identity movie, uh, Jason Bourne, so he's like this, super soldier who has amnesia. So he doesn't know he's a super soldier, and he's being hunted, okay? But he doesn't, like, know. He's just, like, very confused, but he knows that he has all these, like, extreme skills, like, extreme fighting skills. He can shoot accurately, things like that. Okay. So he meets this woman and gets her name's Marie, and he gets her to drive him, like, across the country. It's and I think they're in oh my gosh, they might be in the UK at this point, I don't remember, it's somewhere in Europe. He like, the amount of red flags that Jason Bourne has, like, I can't explain to you. It's ridiculous. She's shot at within, like, hours of meeting him. Okay, maybe an hour, okay? And she's still like, "You know what? He's hot and I'm gonna explore this." It's crazy. Through the whole Born Identity movie, that is actually the part that I couldn't I like the Born Identity movies, but the romance with Marie was so fucking ridiculous because I was like, no woman a man wrote this, because no woman in her right mind would look, I know we love red flags, but this is beyond red flags. So all I kept thinking about was when um as I was watching Oldboy, I was like, okay, it's a Marie situation. It's a Marie from the Born Identity situation. This is written by a man who who like really thinks this is going to happen. That this like young, hot woman is going to take this like red flag man who ate an octopus whole home. So that's what I was thinking. The Born Identity fucked me up and
Yeah.
made me think, okay, I'm going to believe this. I'm going to let the movie tell me.
They played four-dimensional chess with us too, if
They
that
did.
was you took, because
They
that
did.
would be a correct take to be like, "Okay, this is male fantasy porn that this, like, middle-aged man who, while fetching in his glasses, is not the subject of every, what, 19, 20-year-old beautiful sushi chef's dream,
Correct.
yet she brought him home, was like, while you may not have the cookie yet, this cookie is coming for you,
Yeah, I'm going to
and
let
there
you
will
have it.
be a time you're gonna get to have that cookie because she's she brings him home. She goes to she gives him suppositories while he's unconscious and feverish. So that was like, "Okay, girl, you're sticking your finger in his."
In his butt. Like, what is happening?
And then she's like, "I'm just gonna." She just goes to pee, and she's on the toilet, and he runs in a fit of horny uh, fury, starts to kiss her violently and try to fuck her while she's peeing, rape her basically. And she's like, no, no, not now. Yes, though, just not now. Like, not yet.
Right. And
And
again, I
she's
was
like,
like,
"Don't worry, this is coming." And yeah, if you were watching it with the first time, because I didn't I already knew. And so like, but like, yeah, I would like your reaction is a very correct reaction, which is just, this is just action man fantasy porn, like
right.
of,
Because I watch a lot of action movies, and that female character is so prevalent,
mm,
where like she just sees
huh?
this hot guy doing hot guy stuff, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna fall for you, even though it makes zero sense. It makes
Yeah,
zero logical sense.
I was like, we're gonna get to the twist in a second. I was like,
Right.
he's not even all that hot. He's
I
basically
know.
her dad.
Right. 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 But I just wanted to explain why I was like, sure, sure. I am basically like I am feeding what this drama is giving me. Like I am accepting this. Okay. I was kind of like, I don't like that though, because that's
It's
always like my
Johnson,
least
it's
favorite.
boring. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I've seen this a million times, and now she's just gonna be so. And also, like, I never, I started to get irritated with the movie because I never because then her purpose, which I mean, arguably her purpose does kind of suck throughout the whole movie, but then it felt like her purpose was just this like woman that he cared for that his enemies could like use to
Yes.
control him,
And she's
which
constantly like the damsel in distress with her tits out, being
right.
like, "Oh, Audrey."
Oh my god, the tits out tied up on a mat. What is happening? I was kind of like, ugh, ugh, ugh. But the movie was like, this is not what you think.
So, okay, so here's just a question that I have now. What's the pettiest thing that you would do if you had unlimited resources?
What do you mean?
Because we're gonna get to the villain. Well, I mean, but okay, let's go to we're gonna get to what was behind all this. Okay, we're
Right.
gonna pull back the veil. So we are
Yes.
in the spoiler section pulling back the veil, and we are going to get to Ujin.
Yes. Let's get to him.
So Ujin is a petty man. He's in pain. He's damaged. And I liked when you finished the movie, you were like, Leah, I feel like this movie, the whole point is just mind your own business.
That's what I said. I texted you and I said the entire point of this movie was mind your own damn business. None of this would have happened if people would have minded their own damn business.
Daesu hadn't mind his own business.
Yeah. So Daesu sees Ujin.
This is it back in high school.
This is back in high school. So he went to high school with Ujin, and he saw Ujin making out with his sister. Making out with
His
Ujin's
own-
sister.
So Ujin was not incest light. Ujin was incest whole.
Yeah, this is making out with his own sister. Okay? Okay. And Daesu, who's in high school, was like, well, fuck.
That's some tea. That is
He's
some
like,
hot piping tea.
he's like, that is some hot pipe and tea. I'm a teenage boy. I'm going to go tell my friend. I'm going to go tell my friend that I saw Ujin
Making out with his sister.
sucking on his sister's titty. I am going to tell. I am going to tell.
Consensually.
It was consensual. Yeah, she was really into it.
Yeah.
So, but they were still brother and sister. So he tells
no step. Full blood.
full blood.
DNA aligned.
Full incest. So, and then Daesu moves away. So he's not there to see the aftermath of what his rumors did.
Not rumors, just observations.
Well, true, because he did tell the truth. I mean, right.
Yeah.
So, but okay. So the observation that he told, did then blossom into like rumors. Although, well, we can figure. I mean, I don't. We still don't know like what's true, but the rumor was that she was pregnant with her brother's baby, and she completed suicide
With him there.
with the brother there, with the brother begging her, "Please don't do this, please don't do
He's
this."
hanging on to her, so it's a callback to the beginning, honestly, when,
It
like, we've
is.
got this guy hanging off the bridge, so he's hanging on to her, and it's a very beautifully shot scene because
It
she does
is.
something really fucked up, which is he's holding her, she's basically being like, "No regrets, let me go." She's basically upside down on this bridge, and he's got his camera around his neck, and she kind of engages those core muscles, sits up, grabs the camera, takes a picture of her face 5 seconds before she falls, where she looks content and at peace with what's gonna happen, and he hangs this photo on his wall.
Right. 'Cause Ujin's very damaged, okay?
Yeah.
So,
He has one person he blames for this.
one person he blames, and that's Daesu. So, Ujin plots what has to be the most diabolical revenge plan I have ever seen. Like, this is not, "I'm gonna kill you." This is, "I am going to systematically tear you apart and make your worst nightmares come true, and I'm gonna watch it happen, and I'm gonna stare you in the face, and I'm gonna make you live with the consequences of those actions. That's my revenge."
And here's the thing, he doesn't even get to, like, have that revenge part very long. Like, his buildup, like, he edges himself for what
Oof,
must be 30 year, I mean, does it predate, it had to have started in high school.
because he would have had to let Daesu grow up, get married, have a kid, have a
Yes.
kid. So,
Decades and decades, at some point, he just began to edge himself with the revenge, and the revenge itself, even I'm gonna say the 15 years of imprisoning Daesu is still part of the revenge, but it's still the edging of the revenge. The actual revenge of, like, is my revenge plan going to work? It's only a couple days.
it's true. That's very, very true, because it basically he releases Oldboy from, I'm sorry, Daesu. He releases Daesu from the prison and then kind of taunts him, like, come, like, find out why. And what Daesu doesn't know is that, he was hypnotized, and so was Mito. And so it was necessary
Their
to
whole, like, for
imprison.
years and years, he's
Right,
been being hypnotized.
correct. And it was necessary to imprison him for 15 years because, he needs Ujin needed Daesu's daughter to grow up into a woman that Daesu wouldn't recognize. And then that woman is Mito.
Correct. The sushi chef that he meets at the octopus restaurant because he has been hypnotized to incept that that is the place he wants to go to, and she's been hypnotized that all these little things he does somehow connect them. So they've been hypnotized to incest.
Because they did sleep together. Like, we didn't, he did get the cookie.
Yeah,
Um,
very graphic. Well, I mean, not graphically, but, like, cinematically explicit without being, I mean, it's not like you don't see a lot, but it's a very intense sexual scene
yeah.
that Ujin later replays for his benefit, just the audio, because it's a very audio heavy scene.
Oh god, it's brutal because
There's a lot
she's like, "Obviously it hurts, but I'm enduring it for you." I mean, I can't, God, I can't even believe I
Yeah.
said that out loud. I mean, it's rough, okay? And then and then so when Ujin, like, reveals, like, "This is what I did to you. I imprisoned you for 15 years so you wouldn't recognize your daughter. I hypnotized you both. I got you to sleep with your daughter."
And she's now sitting in a room with a box in front of her that is full of baby photos in her entire life that's going to directly connect her to the fact you're her dad and that she's fucked her dad. And she's sitting in a room with this box in front of her right now.
Yeah, so yeah, and so
And
Daesu
he's
loses.
in a room where this is at the end of BTS 2.0. They're in this dance where there's, like, these long pools of water. That is where this scene is happening. And
Mhm,
Daesu is on his knees, says, "I will basically be your dog," to not
mhm,
reveal this, begins to lick Ujin's feet,
mhm.
shakes his ass like it's his tail. I mean, it's
Mhm.
like he has emasculated himself down to the bare like, he is down to, like, any pride, any swag, any BDE he had, he's like, "Nope, I am nothing your fucking like, you have alpha hard me so much, I am nothing now, and I am literally licking your feet with just the flat of my tongue just over and over.
Like, you won, and then
Don't don't tell her."
don't and he's like, "Just don't tell her. Whatever you do, don't tell Mito." And then he picks up a pair of scissors and he cuts off his tongue.
So
Because
he can never tell me.
that's what started this in the first place, was that he wagged his tongue, I guess you could say, and, yeah,
A full circle moment, if you will.
a
So
full
he wagged
circle
his
move.
tongue on incest. He has learned to mind your own business, I guess, and he cuts off his own tongue so he can no longer wag his tongue on his own incest to his daughter.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, it's so crazy. It's
And then
so
Ujin, now having had that moment of revenge, reflects on his sister and her completing suicide on the bridge, her taking the photo, and then he completes his own suicide in the elevator after because he leaves and he just goes in the elevator, has this whole flashback, and then he just shoots himself in the head because at that point he's done it. He's done his revenge.
which is crazy to me that that happens, by the way, because I was like, "Okay, that I didn't expect." I actually thought someone shot him. I was like, "Where's the other person in the elevator?" I, like, actually was confused. I
No,
was very confused.
he just spent 30 plus years edging himself for this one hot 5 days of revenge, culminating in destroying Daesu, and then he was like, "Okay, peace, I guess I'm out to fly into the eternal beyond to find my sister."
Right, right, and
And what happens next is a now I really wanna hear your thoughts on the ending.
yeah, I thought the ending was really interesting. So the ending basically then Daesu goes to the hypnotist. He like figures out that he's been hypnotized and he goes to the hypnotist. He has no tongue, remember, so he can't really talk. And he's like, "Make me forget. I want to forget that Mito is my daughter." Right? I think I like that's what I think happens.
Okay, so yeah, he's like, "Make me forget," or writes down, "Make me forget."
Mhm. Right.
And it's because he says that these are not noble reasons. It's basically like the way I had it was like, so that I can just continue to live in like a blissful existence without remembering that Mito's my daughter. But like I still want to be with Mito.
Right. It's
I still want the cookie. I just don't want to know that I baked the
like, he
cookie.
can't, like, break up with her and just be like, "Sorry, it didn't work," and just, like, send her like, that's another thing too. I was like, "Buddy, like, break up with her and, like, leave her life, and let her, like, live a happy life without you. What are you doing?" Instead, he's like, "Oh, I still wanna be with Mito, so I'm gonna get this hypnotist to make me forget." And so the hypnotist does this thing, which I think is kinda interesting, where she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna split you into 2 selves, and this self knows the truth, and this self is gonna walk away." And you're just gonna let that self walk away, right? And so the self that's left doesn't remember.
Except, okay, so then we get to the end and he's laying in the snow. Mito finds him. She's still fully into him, but
She's
we
like, "I
also
just
know
see you,
she
you're cold.
yeah,
I
she's
just
also been
see."
she's hypnotized to want his cookie
Yeah,
bad,
right.
and she certainly does. And then he, like, pulls her to him, and then you see his face, and he's happy, like, it's like smile, 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 and then it turns into, like, this grimace, and that's the end. So, your thoughts there. Do you think he has walked away and this is just his amnesia self? Or is he like so I think he fully knows.
Yeah, so because it's interesting, because they show the footprints in the snow meant to, like, symbolize, I think, or are they symbolizing the hypnotist walking?
I think it's I think it's functionally the hypnotist walking away, but it could be symbolizing him. I think you're making a good call that, like, there is because there was this element, like, you're gonna split into 2. I just don't think I think that shit didn't work, and I
I
think
also think I agree. I also think it didn't work. I mean, I think in theory that was kind of like a cool way to end it. I will be honest, like not how I think Daesu's still a piece of shit. Like I got to be honest. Like I still Daesu I'm not rooting for him ever. Even when he cut off his tongue, I was just like, this is gross, but also like I don't like you. But
Yeah.
so like my thought when I saw the footprints in the snow, I was like, okay, that's Daesu's other half, so it worked. But then when he had that grimace and I think he was crying, I was like, oh shit, that
Yeah, I
didn't
think it was
work.
meant to give us, like, a sense of, like, what happened. I think his hopes and to me, I'm gonna take it as his hopes and dreams that he was gonna be able to be absolved of what happened and have a clean start, that just that walked away. That's not the reality, and his reality is that he will always remember what this is and what this did, and he will choose it, and Mito is essentially now his victim because he knows she doesn't, but he's gonna choose what he has, and he's choosing incest. She's not choosing any of it. She's hypnotized, and the parts of her that aren't hypnotized, that like him, still don't know that's her biological father.
Right? Like what he should have done is gotten the hypnotist to like unhypnotize her and then he should have left her. Cuz she still wouldn't have known that he was her father. Like she wasn't going to find out unless he told her.
Yeah, he could have walked away and left her with the memories of the Ajusi who got away.
Yeah, exactly. That's all he had to do.
But
Leave
she's
her
not a
to
good
her.
there's no one to cheer for.
There's no one to cheer for. And yeah, and that so that yeah, I mean we get to the end and I was like, "Well, I mean, Christ, poor Mito." I mean, really, she's the only one who I loved, but like she had no agency. She had no agency because she was hypnotized.
No agency whatsoever. So Mito is also played by Kang Hae-jung, who is married to Tablo, the frontman for Epic High.
Wait, what?
You didn't know this?
No. Are you serious? I had
Yes.
no idea.
Dead serious, and even when he did his interview recently with, Yoongi and Namjoon, they talked about how he has his wife saved in his phone because Tablo doesn't drive, and Namjoon was like, "You have your wife saved in your phone as driver Kong," like, because she's the actress, and I'm gonna say, like, because everyone's always like, and Tablo's a decisively cool individual. He's insightful, smart, he's talented. I'm like, and I mean, he knows. That dude he married up. Like, she's a fucking baddie.
Stunning. She has like the coolest like mouth shape. Her lips are very very cool.
And
Wow.
she did films kind of, like, throughout the early 2000s, and I didn't really go to, like, look up and see, like, much more of her discography, but I'm not
Yeah,
seeing, like
Oldboy was one of her first. Oldboy was like the second movie she did. Then she was in movies pretty consistently. Well, I don't know about consistently, but she was in movies up until like I think 2017 looked to be her last like one on Asian
would be
Wiki.
yeah, when she had I mean, we know they're pretty open about their family, so they have a daughter, Haru, who is the same age as my daughter, Bronte, so about 15, so she might have just decided to like, I didn't I'm just gonna speculate that, yeah, maybe she retired from acting and she's focusing on parenting. I don't wanna, like, sell that story if I don't know it, so I don't know it, but I mean, like, that timing seems to work out. But yeah, that is Tablo's wife. I am going to say there's a question we had in the chat that said, "Is Tablo's wife the cooler one in the family?" I'm gonna say, I think she's pretty fucking cool.
And I had no idea she starred in Oldboy. That is peak. Yeah, she's the
I mean,
coolest.
Pablo, like, props to him for, like, nabbing that up.
Amazing tableau. Amazing. I did not know that was her.
I
That
didn't
is
realize he
brand new
no,
information.
I mean, he's got game, I can see it. He's got the game, he's cute, he's smart, he's hyperverbal, like, he's got the swag, I see it, but I'm also like, you know what, like good and good for her because at this point, I'm like, "Good for you," because I'm also traumatized on the behalf of your character.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm glad you have what seems to be I'm sure a happy family as all happy families are, where, you know, there's the ups and the downs, but it seems like overall a cool, interesting, curious family. So good for you. Even though when you're an actress, you're separate from the character. I'm still sober traumatized by this character. So
Yeah.
any hint of happiness that I can walk away from, I'm gonna take. And so yes, I will take the fact that they're a cute relationship.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wow, that's really cool. But this movie, I didn't enjoy it, but yet I was like, that twist shook me. I mean, and also, Leah, I was like, this is double incest. And you're like, I only, like, because you hadn't watched it a second time yet. And you're like, I only remember one incest. And I was like, it's double incest.
No, I totally forgot about the other incest. I was just fully on like I had really kind of just like blanked out of like so much of the movie. I what I remembered was the octopus eating, and then I remembered that it was incest. And so and that did color like the beginning of me watching it again because you just like from go, you're like, oh my God, from like the very beginning, right?
Yeah, but I'm glad I watched it because now I am starting to see, I would say, now I get why K dramas seem to love, because I do fully believe that K dramas do this like revenge drama. They have it's like a very certain like um category of K dramas that feels different than what Western movies do.
Mm.
Um, and I think they are all taking inspiration from Oldboy, and now I sort of get it. I get it, you know. So, I'm glad I have that like frame of reference now.
Because I think when you look at like American, and again, this is not my genre, this is more your genre. I think we often want to watch somebody to root for.
Yeah.
And so we're constantly like, I want to watch something, but I want to have it be, and like the good guys can be morally gray, but I still want somebody that I'm going to say they're the person I'm rooting for.
Hmm.
Um, to sit in the discomfort of everyone's bad and like even oh boy, we're following this protagonist the whole time who at the end is like, well, you know, I was like they were never like, you know, they did petty crime. They like gossiped about their friend making out with their sister. You know, but they weren't like an evil person. So, you know, I had natural sympathy for a lot of it. And then you get to the end and you're like, but you are going to cut out your own tongue so you can keep fucking your biological daughter. And you are going to hypnotize yourself to try to forget it. And when that doesn't work, in my opinion, you're still just going to do it. And that is not good parenting.
No, understatement of the year.
And I'm
Understatement of
gonna
the
say,
year.
while that might be an HEA for him, I'm gonna say that it does not meet the technical standards of what we are going to consider a romance for the purposes of this drama.
Right. 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 Right.
Mito might think it is, but Mito is being coerced and hypnotized.
Right. Right.
So on that note, just lay off the cookies, everybody. You do not you don't eat the cookie you bake. You don't bake the cookie and then eat it. You go buy another cookie.
Do not force that cookie to be with you. Let
Don't
it
for
go.
don't eat the cookie and then say the cookie is only mine and only I can eat this cookie.
Go give your cookies away. Well, go give the cookie away. Let the
Put the
cookie
cookie
be
in the
free.
street and let somebody else find the cookie.
Yeah, let the cookie be free and let someone else find the cookie. Oh my god. I'm glad you I am again, I'm glad even though I did not enjoy myself. I'm glad I watched it, so I'm glad you suggested it. And I actually have not watched the 2.0 video since I watched Oldboy, and now I do need to, because I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're right, they do have the pools in the video." So I need to go back and watch the music video.
Yeah. So the
So,
pools, I had completely blanked that. I mean, it's been what, almost 20 years since I've seen this movie.
yeah.
And so when I saw that scene, I was just like, because everybody kept talking about the hallway scene. And so I was like, yeah, I remember the hallway scene because it's been like referenced a lot. But when it came to the pools, I was like, I haven't heard anybody talking about those green pools
Yep.
because
And they're pretty like pretty noticeable in the movie. Like they're very visually like stunning. Like you notice because he lives Woo Jin lives in this like beautiful penthouse.
yeah,
So
you'll see the desk and you'll see that kind of setting that is like the last part of the music video is essentially Ujin's apartment.
that's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
okay. Well, on that note,
On that happy note.
I am going to continue not to want to eat octopus. I am going to continue to not want to eat anything that's alive as I'm eating it. And I'm going to not want to, as much as I'm a fan of incest, th- this movie teaches me that even I have limits. Even
Oh
I have
god.
limits to my incest enjoyment.
I love it.
Too much incest for me.
Yep. Too much. Too much.
But a
Okay.
10 out of 10 movie in terms of what it needs to do, just deeply uncomfortable. And to close it out, the very last question I'm going to leave you with is we had a Patreon who said, what is something you could recommend to have while watching it to cope?
Oh my god.
Definitely not Toll House. Definitely
Maybe
not
like
Toll House.
maybe like a fidget toy, like a stress ball. Um I I don't and then like an emotional support animal afterwards. Like go hug your cat, go hug your dog, go hug a person that you
Maybe
care about.
just a hammer to hammer your head in and hope that you can knock it out.
Or
Knock out
a
a hip.
hypnotist to make you forget what you just watched, maybe.
But well done on a
Yeah.
movie that is physically deeply uncomfortable.
Yep, well done.
All
And
right.
thanks for making me watch it, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Anya!
Anya.
감사합니다. Thank you for listening to Afternoon of Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoon of Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!